There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Hey, Sabra. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi. I'm meeting all these people out on Telegram. It's exciting. Okay. So what I had proposed, and let me see if I can, oops. No, I can't. No, I can't find it.
Tricia is invited to facilitate and she accepted, and we're hoping that that facilitation, I am anyway. I'm not sure what we've decided, that gets rotated every week. So different people facilitate or
I
lead
don't
the
believe
meeting.
that's been decided yet,
Not
but
decided. Yeah.
but it's something that we could talk about. Okay.
When you,
Oops.
this is the big, go ahead and say what this is right in the beginning of the recording. It might
Oh.
help, Tricia.
Okay. Yes, this is listed as the visioning, the second visioning Zoom call for Northwest Permaculture Convergence, being held on January 14th, 2025. With invited guests from all over the place. Okay, let me go back. I had put forward, I am going to put this into the chat. If I can. Oops. Sorry about that. Maybe one of you will talk again. Let's see.
And Brian, I think Brian's proposed that we actually do this every week. So 6 p.m. Tuesdays.
Yeah, for those that can make it, I think this is going to be a slow moving process. And now with Skeeter's proposal, which we'll get into a little bit more in detail as we move through this gathering, there's going to be more opportunities to engage and participate in the evolution of this organization. I don't know if we want to give any background as to why we've come to this place, or just a brief synopsis, or just launch into like kind of introductions and go around.
Okay, I just popped into the chat what I had sent out to the 4 board members. Well, hey, Jan and David and Anne, a bunch of people I do and don't know. And Skeeter is not here, so that may go out the window as far as the discussion of his proposal if he's not here.
I just emailed
Well, we can
to see if he's
we
gonna
can
hop on, and I just sent him an email, and
yeah, and we can read through his proposal too, and
Right.
you know, after we do introductions.
Okay, so putting on my facilitator hat, and since all my suggestions or everything are out there, I will try not to do discussion. I will try to actually facilitate this the way facilitators are supposed to. So, what I would ask is that we try, does everybody know how to put up the raise hand? Okay, if not, just kind of do this and I will keep an eye out to call on you. What I'm proposing is we do a quick 1-minute introduction round. It might help to have someone who could time. If anybody knows how to run the timer app on Zoom, that's sometimes helpful. Then you don't have to actually interrupt somebody and say you've got 1 minute left or whatever like that. If not, if we could have someone time, that would be helpful, whether with the app or not. Any volunteers? Okay. Julie, you want to take that on?
Sure, unless somebody else wants to.
Okay.
I'll use my.
At least start it, yeah.
And what, should I just like go like this in the chat? Is that work for everybody?
Or unmute and say 1
5
minute or,
seconds.
well, I doubt we'll have that long because we got a lot of people on here, but for the 1 minute, just do it brief, and I don't think anybody will take more than a minute. So let's do that first while people are coming in, and just raise your hand, I'll call on you. Oh, maybe I can just start it off. Patricia Menzies, I have been part of Northwest Permaculture Convergence since about 2009. Was on the board for a while, but I'm currently not a board member. I live in Tenino, Washington, and I'm here because I love this organization. Next. Penny.
Hi, I'm Penny, and I Livingston, and I live on Whidbey Island now. I moved here in 2018 from Northern California, north of San Francisco. And yeah, I'm just kind of plugging in. I don't know if I can be here for the whole time, but yeah, I've been involved a little bit with the Regenerate Cascadia, and just wanting to plug in a little bit and get to know more people in this region.
Thank you. Next. Come on, don't be shy. You're here. Go ahead, Jan.
Hi, I'm Jan Spencer, zooming in from a different time zone here. I've been involved with different permaculture convergences in the Eugene area prior to when the NWCPP started having larger convergences. We had smaller local ones around Eugene in the early 2000s. And I just feel strongly that historically the time for permaculture is, well, the time for permaculture was 100 years ago, but it's becoming more urgent every passing day. And I think that there's enormous potential to not just for convergences, but other ways to reach out to the wider world with the tool, the amazing tool that permaculture is. I'm particularly interested not only in the convergences and those wonderful events, but also archiving real life permaculture actions so people can look at the website, ideally the website here for the permaculture convergence, and have photos and descriptions of what people are doing in real life, you know, for paradigm shift.
I'm sorry, Jan, I'm going to interrupt you. This is our 1 minute introduction of who we are and why, you know, what our organization.
Okay, go ahead.
And then we're going to have all the other discussions. So sorry. So you're Jan Spencer. You're currently in Italy, but live in Eugene, correct?
Correct.
And longtime NWPCCer.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Jan. Brian.
I'll go next. I would propose that we just call on the next person and make it go a little quicker. I'm Brian Kirkfleet. I'm up in Bellingham, Washington, run Inspiration Farm, have attended a number of convergences, and have recently joined the board, which is currently it's Julie, Wolf, and Thomas, who is not here, which is interesting. And Patricia was on the board. At Inspiration Farm, it's going on 30 years. We've run all kinds of workshops and things. We do permaculture meetups and all kinds of other events up here. And I want this to move forward. And how about Lisa Powers? Oh, it says Lisa Powers, but
Yeah, that's me.
Power. Okay,
Pewinofkett is my family,
there we go.
my native family name. Comanche, I'm Comanche, but I live in Tulalip, and my daughter and I have attended some of the first Convergent gatherings long time ago, and not been able to really participate since then. But I've always held a place in my heart for this organization and the work that you're doing. So I am retired now and am interested in getting back involved in what you're doing. And so I thought I would just jump on tonight. So I can't see who else is on. So if you could just direct someone, I'm done. Thank you. I'm on my phone, so I can't see who else is on.
How about Sabra?
Okay, all right, sorry about that. Julie, why don't you go next then?
I just called on Sabra, so maybe.
Hello, my name's Sabra. I am calling in from Eugene, Oregon. I am here because Patricia invited me based on some Facebook interaction that we've had. I haven't been involved with this organization before, and I'm looking forward to finding out what you guys are currently doing and how things are changing. And I'll leave it there for right now.
Want me to go next? You left me 20 seconds. There's going to be a sound in 17 seconds. Yeah, I'm Julie Wolf. I live in Tahuya, Washington, which is the south part of the Olympic Peninsula in the Great Bend of Tahuya. And been on the board, been an ally of the board since 2018. And that was my first 20 seconds. No, I don't want to do that. I'll be quick. So yeah, I'm here. Is that part of the question? I'm here because we finally got a newsletter out, and there seems to be response, and it feels very new, and I'm very excited about what the community wants this organization to do to serve it and permaculture in the bioregion of Cascadia. Oh, Anne Eldridge.
Where did you say you live, Julie?
Unmute, Anne. We can't hear you.
That was your video. Try the
There
microphone.
you go.
I live on the Olympic Peninsula, Tahuya,
Oh, yeah, okay.
Great Bend of the Hood Canal.
There we go. Hi,
There
I'm
you
Ann.
go.
Put your video down.
And been involved with Tom Ward, Hazel in Southern Oregon for years and years, and Melanie and Karen. And I have cooked for a couple of times for the Northwest Convergence. And I just am interested. I like this sort of stuff and wanted to see where I might be of some use supporting it.
Do you want to call on someone next?
Nope, because I can't find my, there we are. David.
Hello, I'm David McLeod. I live in Bellingham, Washington. Grew up here and have continued to live my life here. Have been involved with Sustainable Bellingham, Transition Whatcom, and Regenerate Whatcom, part of the bioregional Cascadia network. I really think the ethics and principles and tools of permaculture have so much to offer to our world and to our bioregion. So I really want to see it flourish and contribute all it can to all the needed areas which is pretty much everything. So that's it for me. Thanks. Saul Rial.
Are you here, Sol?
They just joined, so they might need a refresher
Yeah,
on what we're
she
doing.
she might not be quite ready to talk. So we go to Bud?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Bud Nye. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm Bud Nye. I live in Tacoma. I've gone to a few permaculture convergences, very interested in it, but haven't been involved in a few years, and I wanted to check in and see what's happening. And I don't know, let's see, did Galen speak?
Yeah, thanks, Bud. I'm Galen, and I am currently living near Trout Lake, Washington. Had been in White Salmon, but moved up the river valley about 18 miles to a 20-acre farm. And I just learned that I'm about 32 years behind Brian, I think, in terms of the developing. I'll be dead before it's 30 years old. But yeah, I've been involved a little bit in the past since 2019, but not involved in the last year to 18 months, I think. And just would like to support it in some way if I can. And I think that's everyone except Sol, right? Yeah.
I think that is true. Yes.
And I put your old mission statement, rewritten mission survey on the last blog post. Galen did that.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Joao. So, there we are. Okay.
We're just doing who,
Joao, we're doing quick, and Sol, we're doing a quick 1-minute check-in, who you are, where you are, your connection with Northwest Permaculture Convergence, and then we're going to get into a deeper discussion.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Julia's timing. Go ahead, Sol.
Yeah. I'm up in Port Townsend, and yeah, I just wanted to check in. I've been to a lot of the Northwest Permaculture Convergences, and I think it's great stuff. And so I'm just here observing and checking in. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. And Joao, I think you're the only one left who hasn't checked in.
Oh, okay, cool. Hi everybody, my name is Joao. I am in Bellevue, Washington. I am recently an appointed board member for the organization here. And what was the last one? Hey.
That's pretty much your connection to it. Yes.
Good. There we go.
But a little bit of what you do, where you are.
Yeah, sure. So I work at BCU for my day job part-time. I'm also the co-chair for the Environmental Sustainability Employee Resource Group. And I also have a nonprofit on the side called Ruta Verde, sustainability nonprofit. We're working on building an agroforest out near Chelan, Washington. Yeah, I love congregations regarding permaculture and any practices regarding working alongside nature, alongside plants, and I'm happy to be here to see how we can do more of that in this state or in this region. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Okay, well, changing gears back to what we originally had, I guess. There's been some discussion going on, partly that I've posted in here also, that we may be getting a little ahead of ourselves as far as calling for Zoom meetings from people from other organizations and such to come up with a vision for Northwest Permaculture Convergence. And I put forward that I thought maybe we better figure out who is Northwest Permaculture Convergence and kind of let people who are going to be doing the work of NWPCC going forward come up with what that vision is. So maybe and I thought Skeeter was coming, and he's proposed this meeting in May, now that Global Earth Repair is not holding their gathering up at Jefferson Fairgrounds in Fort Townsend. But since he's not here to do that, let's go back, since most people came here tonight kind of to talk about a vision for permaculture, a vision for this organization. I guess let's go back to it. Brian, you have a suggestion?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a little bit of background for maybe people that are not up to speed with what's happening. So we've been having a convergence every fall for the last number of years, and it's been oscillating between Oregon and Washington. Those are a lot of work to put on, and the organization was originally founded around putting on those events. But they've been more and more challenging and a little bit more difficult to pull together. The energy is a little bit waning for them. So trying to find those venues and the people that want to be involved in putting those on have been a little bit difficult and challenging. And so we're wondering if that is the main role this organization could play, or are there other roles that the organization could play? And I put in the chat, didn't hit send. There's a Google Doc notes on some of our visioning process that people have put together, and we've kind of compiled them. Julie's help and others have just kind of stitched them in there. They're not in any particular order, but you can get some ideas of some of the thoughts of people that are looking at how this organization can best serve our greater bioregion. And so we're really looking at just bouncing around ideas, looking at possibilities. One strong suit of this organization is it's a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So we have the ability to receive and distribute funds from larger donors. And we have the ability to partner with other organizations that can help facilitate either large gatherings, or some of the ideas are smaller regional gatherings more frequently, or mentorship programs, or networking, or newsletters. I mean, there's all kinds of different ideas that could be played into this organization, but we really want to see how, and the board has changed a lot back and forth. There's been a lot of different dynamics going on. And so now the board we were 3 people up until recently, and Joelle just joined us. So that's great. Now we're 4. And so anybody that's inclined to join the board, we would welcome your acknowledgement and application of that. And we'll talk more about what that entails. But we're really looking at trying to feel a path forward and to leverage the assets that we have, which are the website, the mailing list, the 501c3 status, the our goodwill and connection to community, and what we can do in service of permaculture in the larger Cascadia region. So that's the background. And then Skeeter joined us. Yay, Skeeter. So we just did a check-in. Maybe you can do a quick check-in and then maybe launch into your proposal.
Okay, well, maybe I go one to the next, though I see David's hand up. Does he want to go first with what he may have something that's was a reply to something else before this, David?
Well, I just had a question as to, we're talking about what kind of vision we want to create. Is there an existing statement, an existing vision statement, or anything similar for the organization? No. Okay.
Yeah, so there is like the nonprofit bylaws or guidelines, and it is very, very broad and not really fleshed out at all. And it could be a much more fully fleshed out. And just to be clear, and I just got clear on this myself with Thomas's little add on and everything. The vision is like the bigger purpose of the organization, not like action plans. That's a mission statement. So a mission statement is more like, we're going to do this XYZ projects. A vision is like how we what is our overall goals, our overall role and process in engaging with the greater community. So it's much bigger than a mission statement
Right.
and broader and more loosely held.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, Skeeter, I'm actually facilitating tonight, and we did a real quick 1 minute go around to check in to say who we are, where we are, our connection with Northwest Permaculture Convergence. And then we were going to dive into the questions of how we were going to do this. And one of the items that we thought we could discuss tonight was your proposal.
Great. Yeah, I'd like to, I'll
do the intro
I'll
first
give
and
my
then
short
come back.
1 minute and then you can keep facilitating.
Exactly. Thank you.
So Michael Pilarski, Skeeter, I started into farming in 72, organically, got into permaculture in 81, took my first course in 82, have taught 40 courses since. I'm semi-retired. I haven't taught any courses, serious, real PDCs lately. And I'm on the Olympic Peninsula, where I have a small farm with my son, and I also have a small farm in the Methow Valley in Eastern Washington. So I'm planning on organizing an event for the Inland Northwest Permaculture Convergence this summer. I started the Inland Northwest Permaculture Convergences as well as the Northwest Permaculture Convergences. And so I'm one of the gang. So it's nice to be here with all of you, some of you who I know, or most of you, and some are new. But see, that's kind of me in a nutshell there for 1 minute.
Thank you. You are a cornerstone of, not just a building block, you're one of our cornerstones. So we can.
Well, I'm one of the older people now. Oh.
Yeah, we can blame you for all of it, Skeeter. Okay. So Brian gave us a little bit of an overview on what's been happening with the organization and the board, and why we're kind of trying to figure out where do we go from here. And one of the things that I have raised in some of the documents and on Telegram is who are we? So if we're deciding what Northwest Permaculture Convergence or community is going to be going forward, I think it's important that we hear from and help guide it from the people who are going to be doing the work going forward. Because I think there's lots of people who care about permaculture, who want to see things happen with permaculture. But one of the problems we had back last fall when I was still on the board was we can have wonderful visions of what we're going to do, but if we don't have people to do it, that isn't going to work. So we'd really like to hear from people who want to be involved with Northwest Permaculture Convergence and will actually have skin in the game and help this organization move forward. And yet it's hard to do that if you don't have a vision of what you're going to do. It's hard to get people to join an organization. It's chicken and the egg a little bit. So it's a leap of faith, but it's a great organization. I certainly would like to see it keep going. So a little bit more, if people want to come in with their vision for what it could be. Let's
You
hear from
wanna
that. Then we're gonna go to,
timer
Peter.
this or how many
Sorry,
minutes?
go ahead, Julie.
I mean, is this an hour meeting and are we gonna meet next week? And do you want me to time this next round? And how many minutes or?
Okay, I know Brian has proposed that this be a weekly meeting. I'm not sure if you're gonna be burning people out or whatever, but we can plan on another meeting for next week if people want to do that. I think it's going to matter somewhat. Are we having meetings to plan for what NWPCC is going forward? Or are we going to have meetings to plan whether we're going to be joining Skeeter and doing that? Brian?
Yeah, I think just to be clear, like being participants doesn't mean you have to be on the board. Like you can be in committees or take on a little pilot project or whatever. There's all kinds of different ways to be involved. So just to make that clear, I think there's all kinds of different ways to be involved, but what I've seen with other organizations is to have a regular meeting. Not everybody can make it to every meeting. And so I see a different cohort of folks here this evening from last week, and some similar. So to make it regular just makes it easy for people to remember and jump on, and we can send that out again. I think an hour is fine for this round, and then there may be working groups that will meet outside of this time zone. And for that, I'd like to give Skeeter the floor, if that's okay with folks, to have his proposal a little bit of time, because I think that has a lot of possibilities.
Okay, just to comment that I'm on a lot of Zoom calls and regular meetings. And in a crisis, when you really need things to move forward, we would meet every week. But when the pressure was off, we would go to every 2 weeks because it is too much to ask people to do it every week. But every 2 weeks is more common. But so I think I would encourage you to go for 1 week at this point, but to not scare people away by saying at some point we'll switch to 2 weeks. And so listening to what's been said here, and I came late, is that what I would like to do is I would like to bring together as many permaculture people in the Northwest as I can get to this place, or as you can get to one spot, and let them work on the vision and the planning and what are we going to do, rather than say, oh, we'll figure it out for them. So when they get there, we'll tell them what they're going to do. I think we should go into this with, we are opening up this to the ideas of everybody that shows up, and out of the mix will come a lot of really good ideas and good action. So just setting the place where they can get together is really, I think, mostly what's necessary, because whenever you get a bunch of people in a movement together, things move forward, more connections get made, collaborations happen, people have fun, and they're invigorated to help and be, anyway. So I want to have this idea is important to me because I'm trying to build up to a global international earth repair event. And so the goal is international in scope, fairly good sized, and bringing a lot of, you might say, the top people in the world together. We can bring together and this year I'm after, like you might say, the top people, or everybody that's wants to sign on and come because they're interested in permaculture and or bioregionalism, because this is definitely going to be in collaboration with the Cascadia Bioregional Group or movement, so to speak, which is relatively it's interesting. it has a history somewhat like the Northwest permaculture in the sense that sometimes we're really active and a lot of things happen, and then things die down and it almost dies out, or organizations go down. That's what's happened with the bioregional movement. I think this is maybe the third go round, or at least the second. Anyway, so the bioregional movement, in a sense, is trying to reinvigorate itself, and we're want to work with them to do that, plus promote our Earth repair agenda and use it as a build up to the international event. And well, I've just been in touch with Dee Dee Pershhouse in Vermont, and she's going to put on a Earth repair, a smaller regional event there in May. And I've just decided that I'm probably going to put one on in Spokane for the inland Northwest. So I'm trying to, in a sense, I'm trying to build these 3 smaller regional events into what will become the larger international event. So that's why I'm wanting to press forward and raising my hand and say I'll do this, because it serves my purpose, my greater purposes. Plus, it serves the permaculture community here, which I think is fabulous. I think the permaculture community in the world as a whole has more on the ball than any other movement in the world, that we really have the solutions on how we can pull things out of the, in this crisis moment. Who knows what? Anyway, if we get together, it'll be good. And so I'm willing to, I think I have the venue. The Jefferson County Fairgrounds has lots of big buildings, and it can have 1,000 campers, and it can have 58 what do they call those things? RV places where people can plug in. Here's the bad news. I guess it's bad. I know time's short here, but today we learned that the Fort Worden Hospitality Company is going bankrupt. They announced it publicly today. They are the ones that hold my contract, and I had given them $88,400 of my money to rent part of their facilities in that May time period. Rick thinks it's extremely unlikely I'll get any of that money back. So I've just lost a whopping $8,400 there. And as a result of all this commotion, the Fort Worden Hospitality is canceling 300 events that they had lined up and contracted for this year. So this is a big hit for our community. But as a result, it means that I probably maybe that I don't know. Well, time will tell yet. I can't really quite say, but chances are that we won't have any facilities at Fort Worden to go with our event. I had that idea in mind at one point. If I had part of Fort Worden plus the fairgrounds, that would be better than the fairgrounds alone, but we can make do with the fairgrounds. The St. Helen Permaculture Convergence in Oregon, in St. Helens, Oregon, was held at a big fairground there, and we made do quite nicely there. Yeah, Jan, were you you were there?
Yeah, so was I. Froze our
And you
ass
were
off.
there. Okay, Patricia. Well, anyway, so there's my plug. And so here's my concrete fiscal proposal is that NWPCC formally co-sponsors this and puts in approximately a third of the money down to get it all off the ground, to be paid back out of the proceeds from selling tickets, because we will want to sell tickets, because I want to actually have this make money. I don't really want to lose more money at this point. I want to make some money. So I want to see this be successful for the permaculture movement, and successful for the global earth repair, and successful for my pocketbook, and that we all get our money back. So I don't know if you have any money, but we could use help in that fashion. But even if you didn't have money, we'd still go forward. We'd just whine. Okay. So I guess that's it for my questions. That's my quick proposal.
So would that include Regenerate Cascadia?
I would ask them
And-
for a third down too. I'm actually
Yeah.
thinking that the three of us parties would each put a third in.
Yeah, they have money.
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure they do. And so, and you know, heck, I can go out and pick some more cottonwood buds and
And Joao can maybe do a matching fund for tickets or something through his credit union.
well, we just need money to get by until the ticket sales start coming in
Yeah.
generally. And the
Skeeter-
venue, maybe I should point out, the venue cost, if we rented the whole thing, is $10,250. So it's not no small sum. We can say that, well, we don't want the whole thing. We just want part of it. But I think whatever part, you know, we can, in a sense, scale our rental budget there to match our what reality brings for us, you know, that what it looks like. But I think we can get a good turnout for this, barring unforeseen world events.
So is this timing at the same time, May? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, it's already, I already had the place reserved for May. So we would do it then 10th, 11th, 12th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday would be, you know, with the setup and tear down on either side is my proposal.
Yeah.
3 days.
So it's not being postponed then?
Well, we are postponing the international event. This is just to hold the place to make use of our reservation and to build the momentum. We need to keep our momentum up. Our current goal is September 20th to 21st as the next date we might do this, but that depends on how fast Fort Worden gets its act together.
So are you talking about Centrum? Is that the
Well,
thing?
Centrum is a renter. They rent there. They
Oh.
they don't run anything. They rent. They are stuck with the same position I am, except who knows how much. I don't know if they gave money to hospitality or not. And if that's lost, I don't know that question. But Centrum is kind of in the similar boat to me in that, you know, they are subject to the whims of the winds there.
Well, I wanted to add a little voice to Permaculture Institute of North America, because they're also in the process of wanting to up the ante, make more connections. They're on a growth spurt right now. So that's
Oh.
just another ally that I think we need to start connecting. That's the vision I've been holding with a lot of these organizations, because everybody's waving their flag, you know, their individual organizational flags, you know, but it's really time to start linking. And I think the Cascadia bioregional people are trying to do that. I'm not going to give you my opinion on how good a job I think they're doing, but there's an effort there. But, you know, there's got to be a way to really be an egalitarian way of really mutual support, so that the organizations that are involved with each other are feeling supported by, like, so PINA would feel supported by the Pacific Northwest Convergence and vice versa, that they would feel supported. And that's the kind of I don't have the details, and it's still kind of fuzzy in my brain about what that actually looks like. But to me, that's the goal, is to have this sense of mutual support among, and reaching out to other organizations. Like, I just have been invited to run for the Whidbey Island Conservation District. And they really don't know a whole lot about permaculture, but what they do know, they like. And so, I could be in a position of giving money to people, I'll let you know, I'll keep you posted, but I won't know until, I don't know,
Okay.
March. But in any case, what I think is also is linking organizations and reaching out.
Right. And that sounds like something that could happen very organically in May at that convergence that Skeeter's talking about.
Could be.
Go ahead, Julie.
I had a good talk with Mindy Minlin of Siskiyou, and she connected me with PINA. I've heard of it and I've never even gone and looked. Anyways, I was really surprised and reached out to them. They've only got 3 hubs. I think it's the Great Lakes, Colorado, and I can't remember the other one. It's like, why isn't Northwest Permaculture a hub? And so there's a thread open with, I think her name is Elizabeth. And I'm just sort of waiting. I'm not, responding until we decide we want to do that. But basically it's $120. And they actually have a free platform we could use. But $120 a year, I think it would be great if we could be mutually supportive. They've got some great systems. We should be a part of, I mean, some of us are like you and Andy. And I totally, I don't think you're going to find anybody to disagree with you. I would love to see more being aware of who is here and working together. And I don't know what that looks like either. I think that's the problem with Regenerate Cascadia not moving more forward in a whole year. But I agree with you completely. It would be great to at least have some conversations about how we all can be supporting each other. Like I remember you saying, Brian, you're on how many organizations? And hold your hands up. 5. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what it looks like, but how do we do the same work for everyone? How do we serve what we're all doing? What does it look like for the bioregional scale to be the minimum place we need to work? What does that even look like? Anyway, I'm done. Anybody else?
Actually,
I want to give a
Jan,
shout out to Edge Permaculture too, which Brian's worked with. And they're in Washington and they're up here and they've got game. They've got capacity, I think. And they're doing some stuff. So there's all these separate people in their silos. Let's bring them together.
okay. Jan put a comment in about that could be a mutual support could be a breakout group. I think that's a good idea. There's a lot happening here, and what I would like to do is see if some of those who haven't spoken have something that they would like to put into the conversation. Anyone?
Well, I'll just say, I think Skeeter's proposal looks really good to me, and I think it would be a great use of, the resources that he's already put money down on. So I just want to express some support for that.
Thank you, Galen.
Jan?
Yeah, I totally appreciate everybody being here. And I love Penny's comments. I like Skeeter's, David, everything that I've heard. Of course, we need to work together out of our silos. I think we should put some good thought into how to make best use of the opportunity to actually come together in a place as Skeeter is envisioned, and to have some breakout sessions. So these different groups that have so much in common can meet each other and make common cause in that way. I mean, that's just common sense. But to have an event where we can actually be there and meet in person is an awesome opportunity. I'm very interested in the realm of getting out to the wider world examples of what permaculture is doing in so many different ways. I'm more urban, suburban oriented myself, but I have energy and interest in doing something with the website to have visible and available that we can all reference and add to as we can examples of what permaculture is doing in the real world. I like the term paradigm shift. Of course, a paradigm can be anything, but we can refine what a paradigm shift is. But I think everybody here kind of knows what that is. Capitalism is just not the ticket. So that's a big interest that I have. I already know lots of examples of different groups, some small, some larger, that, in my mind, are paradigm shift in action. And I would like to see those groups receive more visibility. And so that's a big part of what I'd like to see happen as well.
Thank you, Jan. Anyone else who hasn't spoken like to get in here? So we're coming close to the end of our thing. Joel.
Hi, yeah. First up, I love the idea. I love the idea of being able to just join these forces, join these sort of larger groups. It kind of helps us to, at least for the Northwest Permaculture the Convergence community, it helps us to, keep the momentum going, like, Skeeter said as well. An event like this, it sounds wonderful. I think it'd be really cool to see, use the event as a way to kind of call to action to people to like see what skills they want to learn towards making this event happen. Um, and the idea of just looking at building community more as a bioregion, more as a Cascadia region just sounds wonderful. Makes us, and I feel like that's a good way to like involve more voices that are interested in permaculture, that know that it's about looking at the world, not beyond state lines, beyond any other lines. It's more about the environments around us and how they bring us together. But yeah, no, and I would love to see about because it sounds like it's going to be a large event with a lot of people. I can see from BCU side like what kind of funding they kind of usually provide for events like that, and maybe use it as a benchmark to maybe reach out to other corporations, even if we're okay with taking their money. I know they're part of the problem in a lot of ways too, but if we can take their money to help put an event together like this, that might be useful. But yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, I think there are limits to what I think. The other day I was sort of balking at the idea of getting money from the Gates Foundation, but I think almost every, if we can take any money and turn it to good use, it's better than them having it. So, but I need to go. I actually have a 7 o'clock Zoom as well, but I just want to, since I'm not on your board or anything, I would just encourage you to discuss this within the board or how, and hopefully you'll agree to do this with us. It isn't 100% sure yet, but hopefully. And who would be on from your end would be on the team, because we'll have to form a team to organize, publicize, make decisions on the money and stuff. So so you have to, yeah, Brian.
I'd be on the team. I would imagine all of our board members would be on the team to some extent, and I would hope that some of our so-called members, like people that show up to things like this, can take some role as well.
Yeah, that's true. We need a sort of a core team, but then we need beyond that, then we need a much bigger team.
We need
a lot of times for something like this, we'll have 50 at least, a lot of times up to 100 people that are signed on to help before it even starts. They know that they're going to come and help set up or do registration or children's area
promotion
and promotion and the website. Anyway, but I gotta go for now. But I'm thrilled I caught the meeting here, at least part of it, because I'm excited to move forward and keep moving and shaking. Yeah, the world needs us. So
Great.
things.
And, it sounds like Brian is stepping up to be the liaison with you and the board for now.
Okay.
Just to make sure we do have one link at least on that. Go to your next meeting. I hope you get your money back.
Joel's hands up too. So
no, that was thumbs up.
That doesn't look good. I can, what the heck? But anyway, you just have to roll with, Earth is like that. Not all the lessons are pleasant. Okay, well, love you. Take care.
All right. Love you too, Skeeter. Thanks for showing up.
Okay, well, we are down to almost 7 o'clock, and we were saying this would be a one hour meeting. Anyone else who hasn't spoken like to throw their words in the pot?
I know I've spoken, but what happens next Tuesday or the Tuesday after that?
Well, it sounds like, Brian, you're proposing that we hold another meeting the same time next week, and in the meantime, we can decide on a topic or where we go from here on that one.
Yeah, I think a week, maybe I can touch base with Skeeter and see more in detail what's needed to move that forward. I'd love to talk with you too more, Penny, on some of your thoughts. I mean, you've had experience with these kind of things as well, and work well with Skeeter. So, and then, you know, we're shifting things out. We're going to be renewing our filing for the 501c3 status here shortly. We're trying to, you know, there's a lot of balls that are kind of in the air that we're juggling. So I just like having a little bit of regularity, and we can keep bouncing these ideas around and pick out the little nuggets and keep capturing them in that Google Doc of the visioning process, and then use that as maybe a tool for some of the in-person stuff later down the road. So just, you know, for those that maybe have not engaged too much in this particular meeting, think about these things, think about how this organization has impacted your life, think about how it could impact and your communities, or resolve some of these crises that we're seeing on more frequent levels all around the world. Water, fire, floods, droughts, foods, and maybe some initiatives that could happen. Anyway, all these kind of ideas can bubble up over the next, you know, sometimes this is a process. You just have to digest things and then chew on it, and then it bubbles up. Oh, here's a little connection. So yeah, Penny.
I just want to say one thing about this process is that, you know, whether you have meetings every week or every 2 weeks, what I'm imagining is going to happen is that there's going to be people coming in to some of the meetings, people not showing up to meetings, and it's going to be this mix of people. And they're going to come, new people are going to come in and throw in all these new ideas, and then they may just drop out. And I've seen so many organizations just flounder because of that. So I just want to give a support for the core group, I guess the board and the core group of stakeholders who are coming to every meeting, to keep a rudder, that you guys are the rudder. And the other energies, like it might even be me, you know, coming in and going, blah, 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 and then, you know, stepping out, that we don't get buffeted like a balloon in the wind here.
Yeah.
So I just want
Thanks for
to
that.
give a voice to that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Penny, and that's part of what I've been trying to say. We started these meetings as this was a visioning process for NWPCC, and it's like you can't really do that under those circumstances. And to me, it's not necessarily appropriate to have people from other organizations popping in and saying this should be the vision for NWPCC, and then they leave and they're not going to be doing the work of the organization. So the vision and the mission really belongs to those who want to work with Northwest Permaculture Convergence and decide where it goes forward. However, this idea that Skeeter's bringing forward and what other people are saying here, that's a different meeting in many ways. And I think that is really what's up right now, in a way, if he's, you know, if he's able to hold that. And a convergence like that, where there's 3 or 4 different organizations together, the little breakout groups there can be a breakout group for people who say, I want to work with Northwest Permaculture Convergence and work on the visioning and everything. And Regenerate Cascadia can have their breakout session. we can work together as groups, but we shouldn't be deciding what each organization is supposed to be. You know, that's,
Right, exactly.
Oh,
But coming
come on.
together
you
with a
can't,
project like what Skeeter's proposing is a really solid, like, this is a coming together
Right.
around the entity as the project.
right. And then
And-
we can each define ourselves within that.
Exactly.
You know, we're going to be different, and that's good because that's the diversity, and they're stacking functions. So you can have one group doing more things and several groups doing the same thing. All of
Mhm.
that's permaculture, right? That's how we learned it, right?
Yep.
Anyway, I think we really should wrap this up. I thank everyone who has come tonight. It's been great, even, you know, those of you who have brought your presence and not your words. That's also very helpful. I hope you will be back. Julie posted, we do have a Telegram group, Northwest Permaculture, NWPCC community on Telegram. Join that. We've got some of the discussion going on that. Email us, keep in touch.
Info@northwestpermaculture.org. And
Right.
also northwestpermaculture.org. The last post on there has links to all of this, including the Telegram, I think. If it doesn't, I'll add it.
And this is being recorded. Last week was also recorded. You can contact us and we can send you a link so you can watch the videos again if you want. So we are keeping a record of what is being said here. So last chance.
I just
Okay.
want to thank everyone for coming to, and your presence means a lot. And yeah, we
Can we get
look
a
forward
show?
to future.
Sorry.
Hmm?
Can we get
Okay.
a show of hands? How many people would want to show up even next week just to see what not weekly, but what might happen next week?
How many are coming back next week?
I think I'll come back next week.
Okay.
Oh, good, Lisa.
Yeah, and I like the idea of, you know, maybe putting a little bit more time in next week's meeting as to, you know, what are the steps towards being involved in an event in May, if that feels appropriate.
Okay, Joao, you have your hand raised. Is that to speak or you're?
He's just voting. I think.
No, it was just a vote.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I can't read your body language when you have your screen off.
Yeah, that's cute. Where were you? Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks, everybody.
Exactly. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much for
Good
coming.
to see y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Julie, want to stop the recording?
Oh, yes, I will.